Making more river than before. Always more river. Always be rivering. We're just gonna put a couple of things into the chest and carry on our merry river full way. Of course, the river gets closer and closer to the doorstep, making travel time to the workspace quite pleasant. We've got some random trash we need to drop off, and we should mend up the shovel, mayhaps. Yeah. And by trash, I mean very valuable stuff that absolutely needs to be kept forever inside of a box. Not this bow. We'll drop it here. That way we'll never pick it up again. Carrots, carrots. But we need more. It's not nearly enough pigs. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to carrot this up. No, it doesn't take too long to get a big old group of animals again, of course. Probably gonna need to go get some wheat. Yep. Well, you know, that's the same as doing what it says on the label. Would have been a sick move if we didn't, you know, hit that there, but it'll be fine. Oh, we're supposed to be... Yeah, I need to make a proper tool. I just, you know, I didn't think it would matter much, but now, you know, if we're gonna... Because we're gonna plant like a whole bunch of wheat by at least one of the sides of the river once it's done. Of course, maybe we'll just cover this whole side of creation in wheat. It's hard to say. Of course, it's better to alternate rows. Crops benefit from like a rotation sort of thing. They don't need, you know, fallow space, but they do prefer not to be crowded with their own relatives. Hello, Geode. How are you? I guess selling stuff does give you some experience too. I say I guess. I knew that, you know, I normally don't think to rotate out the item. Oh yeah, we put a herding on the cows too. That's right. We've been needing to get a bigger herd. We had a lot of mending to do from all of the work on the river. And just went through the herds with a buzzsaw shaped like a sword. But we knew that, you know, before too long they'd be numerous again. You know, you can't keep a good herd down. Alright, so we don't have to trim this wall down. We don't have to, right? And in fact, some irregularity is fine. We could keep it here. I mean, we're gonna push through that whole area there. Yeah, let's just water it up to here. I mean, it's easier. It's easier to secure all the water if it's level, but it's not necessary. And I think, yeah, this will be. Yeah, we can at this point decide that a little bit of irregularity is fine. And we just want to check to make sure that it's going to be safe. What am I working on? Oh, I'm making this river. So people kept falling into this chasm by this town underneath my house, right? And they kept falling in and getting stuck. So I'm building them very gradually. Like, I get distracted, right? So I finally made them some beds. They were just, like, stuck down there. I had 2 beds for, like, 7 dudes. They were just, like, bonking their heads against the water trying to get out. But we're glassing this in here. They already... We're secured, and they can't walk out except for right here. Oh, except for right there. See, this is why you gotta check first off. We should have some random stuff here. There we go. And then we're going to make, like, this hidden city entirely hidden, like this area that's underneath. But you know, that's why you check. So here, this is sealed off except for right there where it isn't. And here we have a little bit coming in, which is beneficial. We do want that. Because that's going to be like for like a little fishing pond that we're going to do. But we don't want it to go all the way down. But so there's this mountain by right by spawn, and that's the project. We're building a river out of nothing originally, but it's quite nice now, although I say so myself. But we dug this massive ditch in the last couple of days, and so here's what it looks like. Here's my little floating islands that I made. So here's Spawn Mountain, right? The cherry trees here are native. I like them, so I plant them lots of places, but a very, very charming place to start a hardcore world. So we took that little waterfall and got this going down here, and so like all of this I dug, right? And then we're about to drop water in through all of this and push it all the way up to right here or so. And then we're going to chip through this wall here, because the future of the river, we're going to go all the way over here and probably make like a big old lake right here. And then a massive waterfall going down and leading into this area here. Say you liked the terrain, it looks cool. Yeah, you know, after losing my last hardcore world, this wasn't the very first world that I came into. But, I died on the other ones, and then, so, where Spawn is where I planted this cherry tree. And this little island here, like, I built all that. That was just like a normal island, the little mini Badlands there. I mean, you could probably tell that I built it, because it's not big enough to be a native structure. So we started right here, and the cherry tree wasn't here, and, you know, none of this was here. Just looking out, and there's, like, some stuff I was like, okay, ruined nether portal there. I was like, alright, got some oceans, went here, and I think I saw this village first, but yeah, so I just turn around, and then this is the mountain, like the cherry grove ringing around it, and then there's this other village here, and then a couple of these trees just like right here I put in, but all, like, this meadow was already here, but all of these lines of flowers were mine. And then all of those cherry trees, that just was always there. And there's tons more. It's a really beautiful world. It's probably the coolest Minecraft world I've ever been in. And I'm delighted to make it my home now. But that is enough showing off what I didn't do. Now it's time to show off what I am gonna do. Now, Let's see how it goes. It should be fine. No, I already know how to build a river. You play Minecraft Bedrock and it's way harder than Java. Yeah, I used to play Bedrock right when I started because they make you, you know, fill out an account for Java, so I didn't do that. I hate filling out forms. But once I discovered, I tried to download some mods, and I'm like, all the mods are paid? That's the worst. Then I realized it was because of Bedrock. And then I was like, oh, that's where the F3 screen that I've seen so much about in speedrunning documentaries and such. Because I had watched, like, some videos about Minecraft speedrunning and mainly scandals within it. But anyway, before I played, which I only started playing Minecraft about a year ago, 11 months ago. But this is the only world I've actually beat the game in. I've not ever beat the game on easy. I tried to one time, but then I ended up quitting because I got frustrated. Alright, and now time for the real magic. So as we all know, the most important thing in river production is kelp. And also we should probably sleep so that we don't get any creepy crawlies down in here when we're trying to responsibly, you know, terraform. Alright. Now that we have slept underwater, which is good for the skin, and indeed, you know, the mind and the heart, we're gonna just get to kelping. Now, kelp is magic, of course. It is capable of generating things that you may not think could even occur. And one day we'll just turn around and this whole thing will be so tall. You'll see. You'll all see. You beat the game 10 times in regular vanilla Bedrock? Yeah, when I played Bedrock, I only really played Peaceful. And then I converted my survival world over to Java, and now I exclusively play Java. Because I love the F3 screen. I do not love getting lost. I love being able to know how to get back home. I had a lot of really not great times when I started playing the game because of getting super lost, where if I just had the F3 screen, I could have been fine. And I guess there's compasses and stuff, but I didn't have any of that. But of course, one need not look far to get all the kelp one needs for river production. Just go further back down the river, whence you previously came. And of course, it kindly floats right to the top for you, just like you need. And now our inventory is super full. It's fine. We don't need to pick it up. It'll come down eventually. You know, you gotta have courage and you know, belief and all that. You gotta have the convictions of the kelp. And everything will come from that. You know, you gotta believe that if all you do is just plant a bunch of weird kelp, that eventually, literally everything you need will become, you know, immediately available to you. It's even true, which makes it handy. And it is just so much easier than, like, doing things the hard way. And individually filling every single block with, or every other block with a bucket. No thank you. Kelp life. Kelp love. Kelp existence. Oh, there's a command in Bedrock? I did not know that. Once, like, the first time I went into the Nether, I didn't know that there was, like, a distance differential, and I came out just so lost. Yeah, the only thing I miss about Bedrock is I liked the crafting menu. I liked that it had the different, like, tabs on the bottom that you could access, you know, like page 4 or whatever. I think it was better designed. You know, I play on a computer, but I like that format better. And I like that it had native controller support, because if you play, like, a lot of Minecraft like I do, and you plant, like, a lot of wheat, I'm underselling it. It's so much wheat. Like, it's really nice to have a controller. Or if you're doing, like, a big rock-breaking project like this, it's really nice to have a controller. So, you know, you can alternate what hand you're using to, you know, click things. You can, like, you know, put the controller upside down and use your left hand to break rocks for a little bit, you know. I need to get foot pedals. That's my dream. Like, just like for buttons on the floor, right? So, you know, you could hold down the left foot for a left click or whatever. I would have one to, like, mute and unmute for Discord for push to talk. That'd be so good. That's the kind of thing I dream about, you know. Reasonable hopes. Like, wait, what's this? Oh, of course. An enemy! Like, how on earth did I take, like, a wholehearted damage? Oh. These poor golems, of course, will be the guardians of the deep. Oh, you know, for forevermore. Or at least for a little while. You know I said I wasn't going to trim the wall, but now I kind of want to, right? Yeah. It'd be better if this was all lower, right? It clearly would be. Like, just look at how much better that is already. But this big section here that I'm inside of right now, this was mostly a chasm, right? In between the water I brought in. Everything from like where that little wall is there backwards there was what I dug. But about half of this, I guess about half of this was already dug down. Do we need to trim this wall? I mean, technically. Whoops. Well, that went further down than I expected. You know, we'll work on that later. Alright, time to drop some random junk off. No, we will have to do one better. Alright, time to make a secret dirt chest. And the important thing with chests like this is to fill them up with stuff and then never come back again. If you ever come back to the chest, you're doing it wrong. But I think in there it should protect, yeah, because the chest will get waterlogged, and I think the torch won't go out. And then I'll always be able to get the secret chest again, and that's very important too, you know, as far as... I may not rest out, there are monsters nearby. That's outrageous. Who allowed monsters to exist in my peaceful little hardcore world? Somebody ought to do something about this. I mean, not me. Aw. And just when the rain started, we laid down, ruining the storm. Nope, it's still going. Nope, it's over. Sad. Oh, we don't even have anything at the appropriate level. That's fine. We can manufacture it. And no one will know a thing, including me when I fall down into the water. Yeah, there we go. Whoops, fell again. Hilarious. We need to get some kelp down here. These kelp numbers are embarrassing. First, we should go to this kelp. Sometimes it's just like one or two holes in the wall, and that'll be like the whole mistake, right? Like that's where everything's going wrong. There, it's not entirely lined up, but it'll still be fine. She's got to figure out, you know, like why are my crops not growing? You know, why are the kelps not pushing up water like they ought to? And it's almost always your own fault. You just got to figure out how. A skeleton? This is outrageous. I've never been so insulted. It'll take at least 10 times that many skeletons to kill me. Whoops. I guess technically we don't have to have it all the way up to the top, although it is likely to work better that way, since I'm already at the bottom. Figured we might as well just hit it some. Where's the chest at? Over here? No? Here? And it's impossible to find any of my secret stuff. Such is the quality of the secret keeping. Yeah. Hey, K4 Clouds. Thank you. Glad you like it. I'm very fond of it myself. Alright. Or water. It'd be better if we just, like, had an interior walkway at the top. We might as well build one, right? Won't take long, and it'll be faster to get all of this down. So we just need to go inside one like this and trim it down. Which will be fine until we get to here, where we'll need more dirt. Oh, come on. No, not there. Alright. Why can't I do this right? Goodness gracious. Yeah, there we go. No, there we don't go. Like, how does one create a water source again? There we go. Like, I've done this before. Badly, apparently. Maybe I'm missing one of them, and I just don't realize it. Because one on either side should make one. Whatever. I hate everything. Day 421. Oh, the title's wrong. It's day 434. I must have, yeah. It started on day 431. But yeah, no, yeah, day 434. Interestingly, the last world I was on long-term was day 334. And so this now is world 434, and this is the only game world I ever beat the game on. I've never even beat it on easy. Only here, only hardcore. Oh, come on. I'm so bad. This is embarrassing. I mean, not actually embarrassing, just like, you know, video game embarrassing. And it'll be fine regardless. The water will work. Yeah, let's just do this for a little bit, you know. What'll it matter? We'll be able to grow it faster in no time. But, you know, unironically a good idea. Because going up to the very top is fine, but, you know, we still got to grow it the whole way, so why not this? And I actually bet it'll start growing stuff a lot quicker than I anticipate. After all, it only takes a little bit of kelp to create a miracle. But, I mean, honestly, hardcore is not hard. It's only hard to get all your gear. Like, as it is now, like, with Prot 16 full diamond gear, I haven't used a shield in, like, 200 days. I literally just, like, run into arrows. Like, it doesn't matter. Nothing hurts me. And plus, I'm invulnerable with, or rather, not invulnerable, but I've got my little golden idol in case something bad does happen. Which has saved me a couple of times, but, you know, when you combine the ability to fly, which you get only from beating the game, of course, with the ability to get your life back, which you can get from any woodland mansion, And then, importantly, Prot 16, you gotta have the perfect gear, because otherwise, I mean, you start out on hardcore and 3 skeleton arrows can kill you, and now it would probably take about 80 of them. Oh yeah, there's the good stuff. Look at the water flow. Look at it. Ah, glorious. That's the good stuff there, when like the whole blanket of kelp rises and then it pushes the water sources down. Ah, marvelous. We should go ahead and lay down. No reason to let the monsters get too excited. Yeah, because especially, you know, like, when you have, not even just like a netherite sword, right, but just like, when you get a sharpness 5 sword, and all of a sudden you can kill a witch in 3 hits, the fact that a witch could be very lethal no longer matters. If it takes 6 or 7 hits to kill one, you know, then it's really tricky, you know. When you have a power 5 bow, you can 2-shot basically any of the normal mobs. You know, the whole dynamic just shifts so much as you get stronger, because being twice as strong doesn't mean, oh, I do, you know, 10 instead of 5 damage. It means for every enemy, they disappear twice as quickly. So when you combine higher lethality with more damage reduction, you know, the game gets considerably easier as your gear gets better. Like, you don't have to be careful at all at the stage that I am. And I frequently am quite reckless, because, again, I know it doesn't matter. Alright, we need some more kelp. We could probably find it somewhere, but we're just gonna bash it from further upriver. Hey, TinyZilla. How's it going? I guess I could make like a lot more buckets if I'm intent on doing it this very haphazard way. I mean, not that I am intent on doing it this crummy way, it's just what I'm doing right now, right? Like, I'm not married to the idea of doing this badly, it's just what I'm doing. Died at 94% on 9 Circles Twice. Oh, that's rough, man. I got 85 on Death Moon yesterday. Which is quite close to the end, but not so close that it's agonizing. 3 buckets is better, because then you can ride one up to the top, and maybe through its influence, create a waterfall to rule them all. Alright. Kinda want to plant some wheat. I could just do it here. But where? By the rest of the wheat field? By the ocean side? Oh no, the bat got stuck in the water. Poor little bat. No, we need that one to be... This whole trench is kind of a problem, right? No, not necessarily. We can just grow over it. K4 Clouds? Wow! You say you just wanted to support me in my awesome world? That's so generous. This is, it's the first time anybody's ever given me a donation, so thank you very much. That feels very cool, very generous of you. I very much appreciate it, and a very cool moment for me. 11 years on YouTube. But hey, yeah, thank you so much. How wonderful. What a cool feeling. Alright, so do we want to flatten out the bottom here? I don't think it matters, right? Once the water sources start pushing up, it should just push over it anyway. Yeah, I think. Oh no, poor pig. Well, maybe they'll be able to rise, like cream, to the top. We'll see. These golems, I don't think they're gonna get out, but the Guardians of the Deep, They are a noble duo. Castor and Pollux here at the bottom of it all. Oh, I feel so bad drowning them, but you know, I mean, they're golems, right? They're not drowning. They're just waiting, just calmly waiting for the next thing to do. And although we have a glass roof here, we are going to kelp the top of it. We'll get rid of the kelp eventually, so that the researchers in the subterranean homesick village will be able to look up at the river. Because the idea is that eventually, like, they're going to be, like, the great ones, right? The people that fell. They're going to be the keepers of the mysteries and all that. And the people on the surface will have forgotten all about them. Do you have any tips for making a hardcore world? Yeah, definitely. So the first thing you want to do is, you know, you try to be able to make a bed. But, you want a boat. You want a boat, and you want to be able to get to the sea, ideally. Once you're there, it's very easy to live through a night if you need, because you don't, get a bunch of inconveniences to your stamina and stuff when you're at sea. You'll be able to potentially find shipwrecks with some nice stuff, because a map will get you, iron. From a shipwreck, you'll be able to get diamonds, potentially, which would be very good. But yeah, plus the ocean's nice. Also, from the ocean, you'll be able to look for what I think of as, like, characteristically promising biomes. The stony shore is excellent for this. So a stony shore, right, is going to have exposed iron and coal. You're going to be able to go around it or just run over the top and get a lot of iron. Because getting a shield is what you have to have. If you don't have a shield, you can't fight anywhere. Because without a shield, any skeleton can 3-shot you. And then leather armor's not worth worrying about making. You just need to get enough iron, right? So it's just a matter of getting your stuff in. For the first couple of nights, if you just pay attention to the sun, just get yourself a little hole in the wall with a torch and wait for night and lay down. Don't try to be too sneaky. That's my biggest advice. You can, like, if you're confident, you can just dig right into the earth and be like, I'm gonna get my iron down here. I'm gonna get my food down here. But I find that it's a lot easier to do that. Alternately, if you immediately find a village, you can just take over that village, in a polite way. You take what I call the hero's tribute of the hay bales that are around, and then, whatever happens to be inside, and then you use that as your base of operations. Before I became more confident as a player, I used melons. I used melons and pumpkins, and I would just grow tons of melons and pumpkins, and then I would trade them to the farmer villagers for emeralds, and then I used those emeralds to buy tools and armor. And then, like, once I got iron and then, like, diamond tools and armor, then and only then did I kind of, like, go off and adventure. But in this world, I kind of just, like, got my bearings and then, like, dove into, I think, this chasm here. So if you find, once you get a little bit of stuff, you got to have a shield, and you probably want some iron armor. But then, your next objective is getting diamond stuff. Because you got to worry about, like, your village for mending books and stuff, but that's long term, right? Short term, you need diamond armor, because until you have your damage reduction, you don't need to do anything in a hardcore world until you can live through a long fight, right? See here, water's good too. So the only thing that can fight in water in this whole game is, like, a guardian, and not very well. Of course, you won't have aqua affinity, but you'll still be able to get around easily. A bucket and a shield. A bucket might be more important for for early play than iron armor is. Not more important than a shield though. So that would be my next bit of hardcore advice is you always want to, I call it bucketing down. If you're going down into a chasm, you throw a bucket first because your enemies won't be able to swim up, right? You're going to be able to get away. It's also going to provide you with a path that you can follow to get out, which sometimes stuff hits the fan in early hardcore. You don't have your torch coverage, you know, you don't have the lay of the land, you don't know what's going on, you might fall somewhere weird. It's really important to be able to just point in a direction and say, that's my way home. But I went from playing without mobs on basically at all to playing hardcore shortly afterward. And, you know, I played on peaceful first. And then I, for a long time, and then a viewer suggested, you know, hey, this could be cooler. You know, maybe you should turn it on to easy. I bet you could do that, you know. And so I was like, all right, yeah, I'll try that. And then I found that easy was, like, you know, very easy because I already had my perfect gear on that world and everything. I turned it up to hard, and then I don't want to be rude about this, but it's funny to say it. And anyway, he's not watching. There was this guy at work, and he was talking about how he played hardcore Minecraft, and I was like, I don't think this guy's good at anything. I bet if he can play hardcore Minecraft, I can. And so I went home and I started playing it. And, you know, one of my friends also pointed out, you know, hey, the first path to being sort of good at something is being bad at it. So I bet if you just play a little bit of it, you'll find in no time that you've learned a lot. And they were right, you know, it was good advice. And that's true, you know, the route to being a little bit good at anything is being not at all good at it first. It's hard advice for me to take because I struggle with the learning process, right? I like it in video games and stuff, but if I feel like someone is like judging me for the learning, you know, I get annoyed. I did good in school and everything, but if somebody was like over my shoulder watching me figure out stuff as I was doing it, I don't think I would like that very much. There was a little while, 15 years ago, no, longer now, isn't it? Yeah, 17 years ago, I was tutoring English as a second language to elementary school kids, and I just remember thinking, man, I would have really hated one-on-one instruction. Like, I learn very well from books and stuff, but learning in a video game is different. I quite like learning in a video game, and man, so basically all of my hardcore travails, they were first, it was before I started streaming, so they would have just been videos, but for a long time now, and this entire world has been streamed, but for a long time now, almost all of the hardcore was on video, but not all streamed. But now this whole world's been streamed in for quite some time before. But it was a lot of fun to learn. I don't know how I would have kept up if it weren't for everybody's helpful tips and inputs. And I really love this world now, though, and I love hardcore. I only play my peaceful world to plant wheat, and then hardcore is the only other world I want to play. If something happened and this world ended, I would just make another one. I would do it right away. That's what I did with the end of World 334. And we're just gonna absolutely drown the lower levels. No, not really. So due to the way the water works, this won't create much more water at all for the lower reaches, which is just the way it is. But it's pretty funny that we've created this immense river of, you know, some several hundreds of blocks, and then at the terminus of it, it'll still be a little trickly waterfall. But you know, that's sometimes how it goes. Sometimes your projects don't end up looking as cool as you think. No, this one's gonna look cool though. I have not doubted for a moment since I began and I realized how well the kelp worked for the river. Never from that moment did I doubt that this was gonna be a great time because then I knew that I could make this river essentially as large as I wished, and that was quite a wonderful thing, because with enough kelp, I can invade Mars. I can do anything I need to with enough kelp. You might think, why do you need to invade Mars? Well, to plant more kelp, of course. You're always in a little hole underground. Yeah. So whenever I had started, I didn't really know like how the beds worked and the nights worked. So I always had a little door, and I would cut a little cubby hole into some wall, or dig a little hole in the ground and put my door down and put my torch up and lay down in my bed and do stuff. But then after a few videos, I built a little dirt house, and I started to learn a little more, and the most important thing that ever happened in hardcore happened, and what I thought was a chicken but turned out to be the avatar of a god popped in through the roof of my house, and he's the leader of the Dark Oak crime family, which we'll introduce in a bit. But I've got like a whole crew of pets. They get reincarnated through the worlds. There's fan art of some of them. Really good stuff. I'm so proud of the fan art. Like it makes me so giddy. Sometimes I'll show someone that's like in some random gaming Discord that doesn't know that I make these videos. I'm like, hey, by the way, someone drew a picture of my bird. And they're like, what? That doesn't make sense. I'm like, oh, it's about to. And but yes, so that was House of Dirt, and then it brought me a viewer that was very valuable to me, both in terms of being encouraging and in terms of like being knowledgeable and helping me out without like spoiling the mechanics. I've never like looked up anything for Minecraft. Everything I know from people telling me, like in real life or in video comments or whatever. But since we've talked up the family, we're not gonna end the video. We always end the video by going home and listening to music and having a little jam session, but we'll introduce the crew real quick. So this is Doug. Doug the Sniffer. Dig Doug. Big old Doug. Doug's the best. Doug digs things up. Doug's a good old Doug. And here we have the Mooshes. So the Mooshes are very dear to me. Actually, my biggest project on this world was building a canal several thousand blocks out towards the Mushroom Island so that I could bring their reincarnations home. This is Baby Moosh. This is Mooshy Smalls. Together they are the Mooshes. They are a songwriting and rapping duo, and they're best pals. We have a couple dog reincarnations that we haven't got yet. Old Hank the cow dog we need to run down. But this is the family itself. This is Garuda, the boss, my best pal, Garuda. This is Calcite. He's a dog. He's a good old dog. Calcite is named for the reincarnation of a dog from the last major world, where one thing led to another, and a dog that I had already tamed teleported inside of an underwater geode that I had like come out of like a nether portal sort of thing. It was weird, and it just like zooped in there. So that's Calcite. This is Belladonna. She's the consigliere. She's the schemer. This is Luca, the muscle. He mainly sits around and dances, but whenever somebody needs to get hit with a steel chair, it's Luca that comes around with it. And together we are the Dark Oak crime family. But they mainly just sit around and scheme. But yeah, Garuda, he fell in through the roof of my dirt house on, I think, the 6th Minecraft hardcore video that I did. I think it was number 6. And it was suggested that I named, like, we kept the chicken safe, and, like, we kept him in a little, like, inside of my special room inside of the house that was, like, the interior panic room whenever I went out adventuring. And then But now, in all of my hardcore worlds since then, because this was many, many worlds ago, I find Garuda's reincarnation as dusk settles on the land. He's always in some sort of distress, and then I tell him that I'll keep him safe, and we feed him seeds, and eventually, get a name tag, which is always a very joyous day in a new hardcore world when the name tags get to be applied again. But yeah, Doug's the best. I love Doug. But there's a couple other members of the family that aren't around. There's a black cat, a void named Atropa. She'll be found eventually. Doug is great. Garuda and me are best pals. I love several of them just so much. I couldn't pick an honest favorite. I do love Mushi Smalls a lot. The Mooshes are wonderful. This river, oh yes. Here, let's just show how it looks right now. But yeah, so this is Spawn Mountain here. I basically, all these Cherry Dreams, I didn't do anything with Spawn Mountain. It's always looked this beautiful. So I just took this and elongated this. So all of this river, 100% of all of this is all me. None of this was here. This was a little chasm, but all this water was here, and then that waterfall is what we did. So we're just, we're going to cover all this up, and then I guess it's almost, yeah, we need to not flood them out here. We need to build that up more, right? Where did I leave my glass? And come to think of it, all right, so will it go over that? I think the gate will stop it, but maybe it would go over it. A door stops water. We could have like a couple of doors here. If it floods, I'll be able to fix it. It won't be too hard to fix it, since any flooding would only be accessed by a couple of blocks. But I know that it won't go in through the gate, but it might go over it. Not the first block over it, but maybe. But anyway, we'll figure it out. You say it must be a pain to do. It's actually quite easy, and that's what all the kelp is about. So you may not be aware, so I'll explain it, hopefully not in a condescending way. As kelp grows, kelp can be planted in running water, which is to say non-source block water. As it grows into flowing water above it, it creates a new piece of kelp. But that kelp makes a source block of water as it grows. So you'll see around me here, as the kelp grows here, you'll see the river just raising. Sometimes you can see it all at one time. And and you can put kelp on the top of other kelp. They have a maximum height, but okay, so something is wrong right here. Okay, yeah, this is just short kelp. So here, we'll show you. As the kelp goes up, all of the water, aside from it, because of how water sourcing links in, is all going to go in. So while this is a little bit of effort, really it's just putting kelp down, and kelp is of course so numerous. So now you see, as the kelp grows, that's all you have to do to secure all of the water sourcing for this whole river was done with just a few dozen clicks of the bucket. Someone at work told me, for some other thing, it was some farm they were talking about, that kelp growing turned flowing blocks into source blocks. So I sort of worked out that this would function this way, and yeah, that's how it works. So while you're digging on it, you just push behind you a little bit, and then before long you realize the kelp has grown up. Of course, kelp makes more kelp for the benefit of your new water source blocks. And you can just plant it on top of the other kelp if you want to accelerate it a bit. So you really, it's so quick, right? You could bone meal it as well if you had tons of bone meal, but I usually use mine on, other pursuits. Oh yeah, so much easier. And it's really beautiful too. You could look back and see the water rising like a wall. You ask if I have an office job. No, I do not. I am a line cook by profession. I am a line cook in a steakhouse. where I do work full-time, but today is one of my days off. I do stream like a bunch. I don't have any like kids. I'm single and such. So whenever I'm not at work, all my time is mine, right? I don't have any other obligations, so I'm off and around. But no, I do work full time, and unfortunately not an office job. No, I cook. That reminds me, I needed glass. Yeah, I needed glass for the wall. But yeah, if I had to like individually put all that water in, I don't know if I would have done this project or the river would have been far smaller. Because the thing with this is because of how the kelp works with water source pushing down all the way, all you've got to do is say, this is the thing I care about, you know, this, no, not there. Okay, I need to get with it. As you see, even with your diamond armor off, Prot 12 and half an armor thing is still pretty good. But no, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this river. Oh, here's where the problem is. It's just these spots that don't have it. And maybe, you know, it's that chest, isn't it? Because if you have any, like, interruptions like that chest I have on the bottom, then you're going to have much more complete coverage all around, or it's not going to work out. And this single thing, I think it's this single one that was stuck down. That was why we weren't pushing forward, I think. Might have been more of them. And yes, I'm aware they're drowned there. I'm electing to ignore them because they're not part of my plan. But yeah, and of course, just like holding the button down and swimming around with kelp is so much easier than worrying about what you're supposed to do with, you know, water and making sure the blocks don't come in. And you can always go and piecemeal put it a little bit more together later. But how I have like these waterfalls on the side, the kelp will just grow into it and then push everything out. But yeah, so full diamond protection 16. You basically don't take damage. You can be hit many times if you have. So the first thing that happens, right? You have your hunger level, right? And then there's a concept called saturation, I think. Like I say, I don't look anything up for the game. I'm just going off of what I've been told. So initially you take damage, but it's just like a little bit, and so you just like are eating up your food supply a little faster to heal it. But so hard you take, you know, 200% of normal damage, but each level of protection, if memory serves, is 4%. So Prot 16 is 84%. No, each level of protection is 5%, and each level of armor, I don't know. Anyway, you end up having more than like 80% damage reduction. I don't remember the exact thing, but yeah, Prot 16 and full diamond. Like, I could just let this skeleton shoot me for any amount of time, right? I literally, as long as I keep eating bread, one skeleton cannot kill me. They can't even do a full heart of damage as long as I keep on eating bread. Such is the strength of Prot 16 full diamond on hard. And so, like, hardcore is just about getting to this point, and it takes a lot of effort. Oh yeah, he died because of thorns. You can do that. You can just wear your Thorns chestplate and obliterate your enemies. And frequently I do. And then you get your nice little aerodynamic arrows. They help you be more aerodynamic, just like the name would indicate for. But I remember just sort of like cracking up whenever I realized how easy the game got once you got like all your stuff. Because I had been thinking, like, when I was first playing hardcore, I mean, like, I couldn't live through 2 days, right? On this one world, like, my grasp of concepts was so hazy, right? You know, because I had no idea what the baseline was. I was just winging it, and I was like, I need to show my courage, you know. I need to not even like build a thing. So I built like a fence, and I was inside of the fence trying to fight skeletons overnight and stuff when I could have just, you know, built a house of dirt. But humorously, I didn't even build a house in this world until like day 100 or something. Look, you don't want to get too attached, right? I just lived in this this house that I had appropriated for a while. Out of kelp? Crazy. But it's you know, like, I know it's hardcore, but it doesn't feel like it once you're at the point that I am in terms of like internal progression of the game, right? So like, I have so many emeralds, I literally just put them in chests and say, cool, I'm glad they're there. I have so many diamonds that I don't know how many there are. Like, I'm level 65. But when you're just getting set up, you know, and you're trying to get whatever food and experience farms set up, and you're really like white knuckling through it, that to me is like, that's the glory time of hardcore. I sometimes joke that I would like to die so that I could do that again, but that's stupid, you know. You could just do it again if you wanted to do that. If you got a village, you would borrow the nicest house you could find. Yeah, that's basically what I did. So what I did, there was 2 villages. I thought about doing the other one, but this one, we'll just take a little trip down memory lane, right? You'll always know the house I steal, acquire, because I'll do one of these, right? With a gate and then another gate, because early game I have Garuda in my house, and of course, as the game just thinks Garuda's a chicken, so I can't tell Garuda to just sit somewhere, and I'm not gonna lock him up like in a cage. He's my best friend. But yeah, so we have this little house. This is where I lived for a long time. And then, you know, I would leave and I would close the door behind me and then go on. So, like, we've got all this. And then this I built, you know, later on. It's just a little row house thing. But, and we would delve down into the depths underneath here. Because right here goes down, like, to bedrock, basically. And there's all these weird things all around. But that was what we did. And then much later, we built our house on the hill there, and then much later again, the beacon. I killed the Wither. Huh. This is the only world I've ever fought the Wither in, and I beat him, and very proud I was. Very proud indeed. But we need to just get rid of this. We don't need it at all. And we need the water to be much higher than all of this, but, you know, it'll be alright. It'll be quick enough going. But yeah, you know, that's the way to do it. You find a village, you acquire their stuff, you grab all the hay bales, and then, you know, that's like so much bread Because once you've got your food and a shield and a boat, if you just always fight near water, anytime something gets weird, you can just book it. Because there's nothing in the game that can catch you when you're on a boat. There isn't. I don't think there is. I have not seen it. And all you got to do is like not get pulled into a magma or something, and just book it. And before you know it, it'll be daylight again and ready to go. I would say probably the biggest thing that's likely to undergo the pain and agony of defeat in hardcore is a person not appreciating that running away is smart. Because you gotta, like, oh yeah, also you should have the subtitles on, because you need to be able to see it say which cackles or whatever, which giggles, and leave, like, so fast. Because if you don't know there's a witch somewhere, you'll die. It does not take long when you don't have prot for a witch to give you the absolute business. And kelp grows crazy quick, right? But a lot of this is... you know, not growing at all, so... and that inhibits your growth greatly, you know. Well, there... this is better. So all of this, like... when you grow it on the wall like so, then your next ones around the side will be able to do it, and then... the sides are more important than the center. The center will take care of itself, right? I guess maybe the center could take care of everything else, but, you know, maybe not. So it's always nice to take a step back and look at the progress. Oh, for sure. And of course, like, making videos for the internet and such, it makes me have a lot of opportunities for that, because sometimes people will be like, oh, what's that? I'll be like, oh, well, let me show you. And now that I have the elytra and such, you know, it's so much faster to move around. Because this is the only world where I've ever had one, right? You know, like I said before, I've only killed the dragon the one time. I tried to speedrun easy one day, but I think I like died in the nether and was like, okay, I quit. Speedrun. Couldn't even run it. When I think back to the fact that I just started this river like a week ago, oh man, quick work. But then again, it's what I've been playing for most of my gaming time, I guess. Well, not most of it, a lot of it. I finished up the main Oblivion quest, took a little break there. I'm looking up some mods and stuff for it, but... I had a great time playing the Oblivion Remaster, I just wasn't happy with where the balance was at. So I just wanted to mess around with it a little bit before I played anymore. All right, the The glass for the top. We gotta do that now because it's about to be on. Now I might have it in the auto smelter. Oh, that was such a delicate swoop. Oh my goodness. I didn't crash into nothing. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's all clogged up. Well, you know what that means. That means it's time to make these copper things into copper blocks, and then put those blocks into a box, and then put that box into another box, and then smash it with a hammer. I almost put the shulker in there. I never would have seen it again. Yes, copper blocks are very important to me. I will put them into that chest and forget about them. Like all of this other random trash. Like, I can't even keep the bottom of the auto smelter clean because I just put random junk into it. I'm the worst. Camera Clouds, you asked if I've tried any Minecraft mods. I have not. I was going to. That was when I discovered that Bedrock and Java were different and that I wanted to play Java, and then I never ended up looking for mods again because I got enamored with other aspects of the game, I guess. Oh yeah, just in time. Yeah, perfect. Ish. We should just lay down for the night. Oh no, I left my bed somewhere. I left it in my inventory and it was blue and I didn't recognize it. That's just the same as leaving it somewhere. You say, is it bad that you're too lazy to sort out your chest? Well, you won't find me telling you it's bad. I'll let you know that. Hey, you can put it on top of the kelp and sleep. That's nice. I did know that you could place blocks on top of kelp. I just didn't think about the amazing, now my bed's on top of the kelp scenarios that could result. So now we have our nice little riverbed. Yeah, and we'll just like watch the kelp grow a little bit. Making a river is the best. But yeah, Cave or Clouds, I always start out trying to... Ooh, I'm out of food. We gotta go. Go acquire some breads. Wait, do I have any like random pork chops cooked or something? I guess I could cook them. Yeah, exactly. Very comfortable. Just a normal way to behave. Looks like we have not gotten any cooked food up here, just waiting for us. So we'll have to wait. I almost certainly don't have some anywhere else, but I got carrots. We can just carry some carrots for a little while. Embarrassing. I mean, I definitely have wheat somewhere. We just need some more kelp. We're gonna go probably like all the way upriver and grab some. So we don't want to mess with any of this. Man, it really does slow you down. I mean, this is just like normal swimming speed, I guess. But I'm used to being so zippy. Hi, K4 Clouds. You have a good rest of your day. And yeah, I should be streaming for a little bit longer here, and then I'm probably going to play some Geometry Dash later and then other stuff. But yeah, I'll be happy to catch you again. You have a good rest of your day/night as well. And thank you for your good luck wishes. The river appreciates them, and so do I. And then later, I'm not sure what we'll do with the riverbed itself. For the outside of the river, I know there's some stuff that we're going to want to do. Oh, this is the borderline. We actually need this kelp here. Oh no. Yeah, it's like that was the kelp that we needed to draw all that together. Yeah, we need to... Is that as tall as kelp gets? Is that what's going on? Maybe that is... Yeah, because if that's as tall as kelp gets because we went down too far... Yeah, there's something going on that I'm not anticipating. Maybe something on this wall is messing it up. No, that doesn't make sense either, because the wall shouldn't inhibit any of it. Like going slightly higher shouldn't hurt anything, but it's not likely to help either. So what we need is this shelf to go higher. And I think we just need to plant all this kelp again that we just cracked. And probably to break this box. But, you know, I'm not an animal. I'm not just going to break the box and get rid of it forever. I think I have a little more sense than that. Oh, this is going to take forever. I don't want to do this. Yeah, maybe I'll pick it up later. Oh, no, not my bucket. Oh, no, that bucket's gone. We're never going to get that bucket back. Anyway, don't put chests at the bottom of your rivers like that. You want to put them in the wall. Anyway, with this changing, we should be fine. Because we were blocked up right there. Unless it's also this thing. You know, it could be any of its faults. That must be maximum height. No, because that's much more maximum than that is. I think worrying about the middle is foolishness anyway, you know, because we don't need to worry about that. We just need the sides, and everything should take care of that. Yeah. Yeah, we've already pushed. Because right there is where we were pushing the shelf, and now we're further here, and I think... Yeah, there we go. There we go. Sometimes you hit like one specific thing of kelp, and then you look over and you realize that was the one that was holding everything else back. Sometimes it's not quite that quick, and you gotta wait. Like right here, because we just need all of these to get taller, but if we force it, maybe we don't need to wait. But this is even a little excessive. We could just be waiting, and this would be fine. I mean, probably fine. We should be focusing more on making sure we've got random coverage throughout, because missing one single one is likely to be fine, but you know, you miss a couple of them and then you know, you can't really see anything from it, but that's okay. Need to make a little fishing pole there, fishing pond. Where are all the villagers? I don't know where they've gone. I don't see how they could have perished. And yet I don't know where they are. They're not in bed. Like, could they have gotten down here and elected to fall? Where are they? There should have been 7. I don't think they fell down here. Well, anyway, I don't know where they are. I thought it was nighttime. They should have been laying in bed. Yeah, horse is still fine. Like, there shouldn't have been the ability for any mobs to get them. I thought this place was, like, totally secure. And shouldn't they have spawned golems to protect them? Well, anyway, I have no idea where the villagers are. Well. That's embarrassing. Look, we're not going to abandon the project just because the sunken city has lost all its denizens. Yeah, huh. Alright, I have no idea where they're at. They might not be here anymore. After all that time, and as soon as I try to make them a sweet underground place to live beneath the river, that's when they don't wanna play anymore. Yeah, it's so weird. dropped my other bucket. I remember. So annoying. It was like it kept hitting the water block that was not the one I was trying to get. Like why not the one that would allow me? Oh, maybe that one's not a water source yet. Anyway, so I know how water sources work. Like 2 sources on either side of one thing should make it go, but maybe not sometimes. Maybe that's only if it's in a 3 block. Because like normally if I went here, skipped one, and went here, this one in the middle should become a water source too, right? But it's not letting me take it away. Yep, I don't know. I really thought I knew how water worked. Maybe if there's space underneath the block, it's not the same rules. I don't know. Yeah, now we're talking. We're so close to the top here. We can use our sort of clumsy haphazard method, and it still works. Very well indeed. All right, good stuff. Well, I think that'll about wrap it up for this session. Amazing run here. I mean, when you look back at this river and reflect that a few days ago it was no river at all, I mean, sure, it needs some work, but I mean, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? We'll dress up so much of it, you know, it'll take 10 times as long to make the inside and outside of it look as river-like as the bones here, but wonderful, wonderful stuff. Let's go to the vault so we can put some of this stuff up. Did I put a grass block there, or did an Enderman? Just put this random trash in here since we're keeping all sorts of random trash in these valuable shulker boxes where I just keep junk. Just literal junk. Not hay bales, they're not junk. Not golden carrots, they're not junk. But why would I have them in here? 41 blocks of redstone, like... The moon rises. And we return home once more to the crime family, Garuda! And, well, it's that time again. Where we go? Yeah, let's listen to an old classic. This was the national anthem before the modern era. This was before we discovered Creator and Pigstep. It was the magic of Cat every night that put the crime family and us to sleep. But, I mean, what a great time, right? You know, we made the river considerably bigger. There's some imperfections in it, but nothing that some buckets of water and kelp can't sort out in relatively short order. And we think about, you know, a dozen or two blocks deep by, you know, the several hundreds of spaces there, you know, getting thousands eventually of water source blocks thrown in, doing it in a couple hours, considering how long it would have taken me in the past to get flowing water, you know, like it's a lot. So really happy with the speed and progress. You can actually see the river a little bit as you look out the window. And Bella's way too close to the door. We need to gently suggest to her. Yeah, who's a good Bella? There, a much better spot. Man, I can't believe that whole village down there got lost. You know, we'll have to do something else. You know, maybe there won't ever be a village there again. Maybe one thing will lead to another. We're not gonna force any villagers down there. You know, we'll see what happens. Perhaps with time, more villagers will just appear in the deep. Maybe we'll get some zombie villagers in Kyurem or something. That's a thing you can do, right? You cram a golden apple in their mouth or something. I believe it works. Anyway, I've heard stories. There's an achievement for it, I think. But anyway, I think no one's here with me right now live, but if you're watching in the future, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed, and perhaps I'll see you in another stream or video where we'll probably be digging a river or something of the like. So anyway, thank you guys so much. That's all I've got for you right now, though. And yep, there we go.